Hi, this is Mike Regan with Transact's 2-Minute Warning for the week of June 15th. In this week's 2-Minute Warning, we've got an important question to ask. With the Great Freight Recession having come to an end, what does the future look like for both carriers and shippers? Folks, on July 14th, we've got a very important webcast that if you're an LTL shipper or just interested in the overall transportation market, you're going to want to join this webcast that we're hosting with our friends from CSCMP and NITL. It's going to be taking a look at what's going on in the LTL marketplace, and we've got some really esteemed city-level executives from these motor carriers sharing insights that you're going to want to hear about. Now, one of the things that we are going to be talking about, because it applies not just to the LTL carriers, but also applies to the truckload carriers, is the fact that the Great Freight Recession is now officially over. There are several signs that are indicating that the relief that the carriers have had to have in order to recoup some of the increases in costs that they've experienced over the last 3-4 years, they're going to be able to get those increases through, which is why we're seeing truckload rates up by as much as 8 to 12%. The other interesting thing we're seeing in the truckload sector is carriers are looking for short contracts, whereas before they wanted 1, 2, even 3-year contracts. Now a lot of truckload carriers are showing up saying, we'll give you rates for 3 months. The reason they're doing that is because they expect their capacity to be a lot more valuable 6 months out than it is today, but it's still very valuable today because of a couple different things. Now, with that thought in mind, one of the things we've also encouraged people to do is to take a look at the kind of strategies that they need to consider in order to effectively manage through this tumultuous time that you're heading into. One of the things on the LTL side that we're going to be talking about is the fact that the LTL carriers now are using what we call targeted pricing. They have great data showing what their cost to serve individual shippers are, and they also know what's going on with their lanes of traffic. Density is everything to an LTL carrier, so if you're going to have an effective sourcing event, one of the biggest changes in there is to take advantage of Transact's proprietary targeted sourcing methodology. What we're doing with that is going to the carriers and finding out, where do you want freight, where you don't want freight. What determines that? The density in the lane. If you've got freight that's attractive to a carrier that's looking to increase the density or expand into certain lanes, you're going to get more favorable rates than you are if you have freight that already is in lanes that the carriers have more than enough freight. But one of the things that we're also monitoring is the length of the contract. And with that thought in mind, we jokingly say one of the other ways you can tell freight recessions are over is when you start to hear shippers saying, well, we really want to be a shipper of choice. A lot of them forgot what that meant over the past 3.5, almost 4 years when the carriers were struggling. But let's wrap it up by sharing with you that if you're interested in learning how you can manage your LTL and truckload rates, give us a call here at Transact. We've done billions of dollars worth of sourcing events, and we can give you some help, because with each and every 2-minute warning, we're here to remind you we're on your team, here to help, and passionate about seeing you be successful. Thanks for your time.